Yo, what's up, people? It's me, Simply Joe. Whoa. Alright, today, or rather in this video, we're going to be talking about depression and how awesome it is. How awesome it is to be depressed all the freaking time. And to be depressed in a way where people can't even detect your depression. Because we're pretty good at that, so we should get an award for being able to hide our depression amongst, normal people. Not anybody we're close with, because, anybody that's close to us we're willing to share that very private side of ourselves, because we're pretty vulnerable people. That's why we uphold such a cool demeanor. We try to put our brains in the front line just in case something may happen to us, or if we get assaulted by any laymen. Well, anyways, okay, so why do ENTPs become depressed? Kind of seems like an oxymoron, you know what I'm saying? Because we're supposed to be optimistic, we're supposed to see the brighter side of things, we're almost always able to come up with solutions to problems. So why do we become depressed? Well, considering that I mentioned all of those things, coming up with solutions to a problem for somebody else is easy. But coming up with solutions for ourselves is a little bit more challenging. If you factor in how adaptable we are, or how often we evolve, it's very difficult to give us a concrete answer, because our whims and our desires change from time to time, day to day, minute to minute, second to second. So it's hard to say, okay, Simply Joe, this is what you should be doing. And the sad thing about it is that when we do come up with a solution for ourselves, there's something about the solution that demotivates us from wanting to pursue it. And rather than pursuing it, we just give up on it and we switch up our agenda. Because apparently it seems to be more efficient that way. It seems to be an easier route to take if you just change your entire program as opposed to just working on a program that you have at hand. And if you really break it down, it's basically like if someone comes over to us and we have a deck of cards stacked up in a really neat fashion where, it creates a house, right? And someone walks by and just, kicks it down. Instead of us wanting to solve the situation either by addressing the individual or doing that along with restacking up the cards, we just kind of turn around and look towards the blocks, and we start making a house out of blocks until someone knocks that down, and then we'll probably go to something else. Coins or bricks or whatever. So that's pretty much the methodology right there. right? So, I'm sorry. So that's just to name one, right? We get depressed when we can't find a solution for our own lives. Okay, number 2. Another thing that gets us depressed is not being able to pick one of our ideas to focus on, one of our passions to pursue, one of our concepts to invent, or one of our potential mates that we want to pursue. Right? All that's going at once. And when you have all that cycling through your brain constantly, and I believe it's with the extroverted intuition along with introverted sensing. They call that the loop. It's a vicious cycle. And it just keeps on going. Right? That right there can lead to a lot of depression. Why? Because in the long run, we're looking at ourselves like, why am I not doing anything with my life? I'm not doing anything. I'm just wasting my life away. Yeah, you are wasting your life away. You're wasting your life away with just cycling thoughts. And to add on to something else, to add on to that, we factor in the amount of time that we have on Earth, and we look at an activity and the amount of time that it would take in order to acquire or understand that subject, and it doesn't really push us to want to learn it to the fullest extent, because we want to learn everything. But you can't learn everything. So the solution to that is just to pick a subject and just learn it. Pick up that book that you've been wanting to read and just read it and finish it. Once you put that down, move on to your next aspiration. You want to learn Qigong? Cool. Alright, time to learn Qigong. Then you go out and learn Qigong. Boom. Now you're hitting one after another. One after another. Just imagine the amount of activities and experiences that you would have gone through in a year span. You see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about? And it doesn't take an ENTP that long to fully understand a subject. So long as he has the right resources and possibly a really good teacher who's also intuitive and can cater to your learning style, which is pretty quickly. And we don't really like to dabble into anything elementary. You gotta just throw us in the mix. You know, it's like learning how to be a jeweler on a master jeweler's level. And if the master jeweler's like, okay, here's the ring, I need you to put some prongs on there and put this 24 karat diamond on there now. Okay, so what do we do? Okay, how do I start off by making the prongs? Okay, this is how you do it. Boom, we got that. Okay, what kind of solder should I use? This solder. Boom, got it. And what type of what temperature flame should I use to solder the prongs on? This. Boom. and we just pick it up just like that. 1, 2, 1, 2. And we already have that in our head, and then we just repeat it. Eventually we're going to get bored and we want something more advanced. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so that's depression number 2. Depression number 3 comes from the fact that we care about people so much. Despite what, we do on the internet, as far as trolling or whatever on, whatever interface, Facebook or some video game apparatus, whatever, right? In real life, we care about people, especially those who are close to us. And even those who aren't that close, we still consider their feelings. We still try to be civil with them. We still try to be ethical with them. Unless, we pick up automatically that you're a douchebag. So we're on high alert. Ready to, come with a barrage of assaults when necessary. But generally, we want people to be happy. Okay? Now, that depression, how that type of depression works is that we're constantly juggling people in our mind. We're constantly asking ourselves, what if? What do I need to do? This and that. Right? Okay, that's understandable, that's great. You want to help people out, that's fine. But there's a time and place for that. But what a lot of ENTPs do is they let that take over your lives, right? They allow that to engulf their lives, to the point where that is what they're just thinking about. They're always going back in the past and reliving the past. No. Leave that alone. Just leave it alone. Sorry. And I know you've heard it before, the past is the past. But there's a time and place for that. If you want to be productive, and if you want to undo your depression, you have to just stop thinking about people. At least temporarily. When you do that, your depression will be gone. You will regain your focus, and the type of ENTP that you will become will almost be like the Terminator. And it will feel kind of awkward because it will almost seem like you have no emotions. And you're staying very objectively. And the interesting thing about it is that when you set those feelings aside, and yes, ENTPs, we do have feelings, you are able to focus on your projects much better without having to consider anybody else. It is just you and your projects. You are separating personal from business. Okay? Alright, another issue that stems with ENTPs becoming depressed is the fact that you allow society to restrict your... Hold a second. Is that you allow society, right? People, possibly religion, possibly politics, possibly what's considered taboo or not, to hinder you from wanting to learn a subject that most people would not want to learn about, either because they will get scrutinized, either because they will go to jail, either because it's just frowned upon to learn about that subject. You have to break those boundaries and allow yourself to be free. Absolutely free to think and learn whatever you want to do and learn. That probably is the number one thing that makes ENTPs depressed. And once you realize this, you will look back and say, why didn't I do this a long time ago? Why did I allow my environment to control me? And then you will really see truly that you've been, brainwashed into thinking that your way of thinking is wrong, that the way your mind works is wrong. No, you're fine. You're fine. This is how you learn. And whatever subjects you want to learn about, freaking learn about it. That's it. Screw everybody else. Just learn about it. Because at the end of the day, the ENTP, no matter how harmful the subject may be that we're learning about, more than likely we're not going to use it to hurt anybody anyways. We just want to know about it. We just want to learn about it. You see what I'm saying? Any subject. Any freaking subject you want to know, freaking know it. Don't confine yourself to, ENTPs should be scientists or businessmen, whatever. No. Man, if you want to be a freaking ninja, like a real full-on ninja, like for hire, nigga, that's what you should be learning. If that is what you desire. You see what I'm saying? ENTPs relish in those areas that dabble in anarchy, that dabble in taboo, that dabble in the unacceptable. We relish in that because we want to understand it. We want to understand those subjects that most people on earth are scared to learn about. That excites us. So that we can talk from their perspective. So if we criticize that subject that we just learned, it's a true criticism. It's a knowledge-based, experience-based criticism. It's not just hearsay. It's not just, Bob from ABC or Fox News said such and such, or Professor blah 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 said such and such. No, you were with those people. You learned that subject. You smelled this and touched that and ate this and drank that, and now you can speak about it. We do not want to be blind followers in anything. That is, we want to experience it firsthand. We want to just experience this thing that people hate. We just want to experience it. So, if there's anything from amongst the things that I just mentioned, let it be just that. You have to free the shackles of your mind from restricting you from learning whatever type of subject you want to learn. Legal or illegal. Because we need to know about it. Because we thirst for knowledge, man. So those are the 4 things. Alright? Let me see. Okay, just as an added bonus, what can get an ENTP motivated? What gets an ENTP motivated is if he has an end goal. A goal that results from his intellectual pursuit, his intellectual ability to conjure up something that people wouldn't even imagine and to manifest it. You got to be able to see that it's tangible. And once you have obtained that goal and you see how tangible it is, like almost to the extent where you can smell it, you can taste it, you can touch it, you need to find a way step by step to obtain that. Like for me, example, and I don't care if you take my ideas and go with it. If you do, fine. You're saving me my job. You're saving me to work. Because if that product gets put on the market, I get satisfaction from that because that's my idea, right? Whether I make money or not. Money is not the end goal for all ENTPs. You know, to be completely honest, an ENTP who desires wealth is an immature ENTP. A mature ENTP just does it just because. That's it. He builds a robot that can, mimic human movement just because. He creates or he comes up with a formula that allows a human being to tap into 100% of their brain just because. And we don't always need recognition. We just need to prove it to ourselves. We just gotta be like, okay, I did it. What's next? So we gotta start restricting your mind from learning. Don't worry about the circumstances of whether the outcome of your intellectual masturbation will lead to destruction or not. Just do you. If you happen to come up with a new form of weaponry, okay. Prove it to yourself. And once you do that, destroy the formula. That's it. At least you proved it to yourself. That's all that matters. Screw everybody else. They don't matter. Because when you prove that to yourself, that reaffirms that you know what you're capable of and what you're capable of accomplishing and how far your feet can reach. So every ENTP has a goal. But what you need to do is either write it all down on paper, which I think is okay, but it's kind of time consuming and it can be demotivating after a while unless you make it stimulating by writing calligraphy or whatever, or make it some type of mental challenge where you turn into poetry form. Or you can just make a video and rant to yourself. Nobody has to see this. You just have to get it out your head and tell the video or this audience what is on your mind, what's bothering you. Once you let that out, boom, you can start figuring out things. You can start seeing where you want to put your mind, your energy towards. So that is how an ENTP can get motivated. Our motivation is not money. Our motivation is to prove what we're able to do to ourselves. God bless us. Allah bless us, whatever you want to say. Right? Seriously. And it doesn't always have to be a type of contraption. It can be an ideal. It can be a niche in the political sphere. It can be a niche in society that you want to exploit. And you just exploit it. And show everybody, like, look, there's something right.